again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with the continuation, part 2 of the Log Cabin Filet Blanket. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a good one today. And thank you to my testers for helping me make this pattern what it is. I really appreciate it. And if you're interested in a copy of the written pattern, check out in the link down below in the description box, a link to my Etsy store where you can get a copy of this pattern. Also, timestamps, as per usual, will be in the description box as well. So, without further ado, let's get to it. All right, row 11. Okay, so as per usual with our previous rows, we're going to start by chaining up 3. 1, 2, and 3. And work our way across with 5 double crochets, so skipping that second stitch, 5 doubles. Yeah, I don't know about you, but it is raining like cats and dogs outside, and I am hoping very much that the power stays on here. That would be nice. There we go. And then after we do our space, our eyelet, and our 5 doubles, make another eyelet. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next, and, excuse me, another 16 more doubles for a total of 17 for this section. And yes, you know I'm going to double count. It's how I roll. Sorry to get 2. Oh, lots of thunder out there. My goodness. Everything's vibrating. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the sound of the rain and the thunder and all that stuff. I love it. You know, I find it actually very, very calming and very relaxing. The only thing that makes me tense is not having power, nor Wi-Fi, nor any capability of uploading and downloading and whatnot that I need to do. Other than that, it's like, hey, if I don't have to go out in the weather, hey, I'm good. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. All right, almost there. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. There. All right, we should be good. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 17. Perfect. Okay, so after doing your block of 17, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then do another block of 5 doubles. So it's, you know, all about sort of compartmentalizing groups of doubles separated by your eyelets. I mean, that's largely what filet is, right? Okay, so this should be 1 full block's width. So it's 5, 17, and 5, and then of course you have your eyelets in between. So let's do block number 2 right now. All right, just grab a bit more yarn, and we will do the doing. So, chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5 stitches, okay, we've got 3, 4, and 5, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then a block of 17 again. Also, I've mentioned this before in some of my videos. There is an app that I have, seriously, I have it on every night when I'm getting ready to go to sleep. It's called Headspace. No, not sponsored. Would be nice, though. And every night I have that on, and there's one particular soundscape that I listen to. It's called Snowfall, and it's absolutely love it. Either that or sometimes I listen to the rain. You know, it's just really nice and comforting. You know, I like it. All right, so how many do I have here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Okay, keep going. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and this should be 17. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 17. Perfect! Okay, so after doing your block of 17, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double into the next 5 stitches. Okay. And then, to finish up, chain 1 and double into the top of the last double. So for us, that is the second chain from the bottom. And there you go. That is the end of row 11. So again, recap, grouping of 5, 17, and 5, 5, 17, and 5. So that is, in essence, your repeat. All right, onwards. Okay, row 12, going to be very, very simple. It is what I like to think of as a mirror row. So we're going to be doing really the same thing that we did in the last row. Start off by chaining up 3. Turn the work and skip that second stitch going into the next, and hop right in with 5 doubles. So when I say a mirror row, we're going to be doing doubles in the doubles and eyelets over the eyelets. We're not doing anything new or unusual. It's just following suit with what we did in the previous row. So we can fly through this pretty easily. Now also, for those of you that may have gotten the written pattern, something that I feel that I should clarify, not that there's anything wrong with the pattern, it's just the way that I explain things visually and verbally is not necessarily the way that I write them out. I have a different sort of method behind that. For instance, when I say at the beginning to chain up 3 in the pattern, if memory serves, I say chain up 2, and then I say, chain 1, so it equals 3. But as far as writing out the repeat for the pattern, it's easier. If you've seen the pattern, what I'm saying right now is going to make a lot more sense. If not, that's okay. But I just have a way of explaining things, in person with you guys differently than when I write them out. It's one of those weird ways in which my brain works or doesn't work. You be the judge. So how far along are we? We're getting there. almost through my 17. And yeah, I'm going to count anyway because, well, it's how I am. Okie dokie. There we go. Okay, so just making sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17. Yep, good. Everything's still kosher. All right, so then after doing your grouping of 5 and grouping of 17, I need another grouping of 5. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5, and that will be our first block taken care of, and then we'll do the next one. There we go. So then for the second block, chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5, and one more. Okay, and then chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the next 17. So this is one of those rows, like I said, a mirror row is how I tend to call it. It's sort of a bit of a mental vacation. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. And if your project is really wide with a lot of multiples, yeah, it's like a little mini vacay. That is, of course, when you get all of your plies. It happens. Okay, and a couple more to go. And then we will do our last grouping of 5. And all will be well. Okay, and one more after this. Shaboom. Okie dokie. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 17. Perfect. And then to finish this up, chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5. Okay, that's 3, 4, and 5. Great. Then finish up by chaining 1, skip a stitch, double into the top of the last stitch. So that's the second chain from the bottom there. And double. All right, so again, grouping of 5, 17, 5, 5, 17, 5. And that is row 12. Okay, row 13. Well, we have got a lot of eyelets to do on this row. My goodness, you'll see in just a moment. So, starting right in with a chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3, turn. All right, and then, as per usual, skipping that second stitch, going into the next with a double for our first eyelet, and we need 12 more for a total of 13. So, chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next, and so forth until we have a total of 13 eyelets. So let's mosey our way across. And a couple more rows, and we will be done with the first block, and which will be the first half of the repeat. You know, we're getting there. You and me. It is, like I said previously, it is a bit of a long repeat, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad. All right, so how many do we have, huh? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Ten. 11. 12, and this should make 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. Okay, then to finish up this block, we need 5 doubles here. We already have the 1, so add 4 more. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so that is the first block done. And then to continue on for the second block, we need to hop right in with 13 eyelets. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next. And so on and so forth. It's really simple. Okay, scooting right along. Oh, I forgot to do my chain. That does happen, even to me. Sometimes you get so lost in the groove that you forget little important things like chain stitches. You know, it happens, it happens. Okay, a couple more, I imagine. And then I think, if I am not mistaken, one more, and I should be good with my 13. Let's see, shall we? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Awesome. All right. So from here, we need to finish with a grouping of 5. I already got the 1, so I need 4 more. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. Then finish up the row by chaining 1, skip a stitch, and double into the last stitch. My plies are being finicky, but I got it. I got it. There we are. All right. So, recap. 13 eyelets, and grouping of 5. 13 eyelets, grouping of 5, and of course, got to continue the bordering of those eyelets. And there you go. Okay, row 14, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Instead of a lot of eyelets, we have a lot of solid doubles, but we'll do it. So as always, start off by chaining up 3 so that we can create our eyelet on the edge here. Skip that second stitch, going into the next with a double, so we have our edge eyelet. Then another 28 more doubles for a total of 29. So we're just going to tool our way all the way across this square. And as per usual, whenever you hit a chain space, you double into that chain space. You treat it as a stitch. So this row, really, really, really simple. It is, however, of course, easy to skip over where you're supposed to stop. So I am going to double count, and I will explain what I'm talking about. Basically, we are doubling across the width of one block, one square. And once you have more squares established, you won't even need to count. You can just look at your existing work and see, oh, yeah, I need an eyelet right there. But that will come with time. So I'm just going to tool my way across over to it to get my total of 29. And then we will make an eyelet separating our blocks. Sounds like a plan. Okay, yeah, we're almost there. Couple more. Okay, almost. And that should be our total of 29. And even though I didn't count, I'm pretty sure that I got it. Because if you look down here, this row of eyelets that goes all the way down to the bottom, this is the separation of one block from the next block. But I'm going to count anyway, just to show you what I'm talking about. So after the eyelet, I should have total of 29. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 29. Yes. All right, perfect. So then, since I've got my 29, need another eyelet. So chain 1, skip a stitch, and then 29 doubles for the next block, and so on and so forth. And then we'll finish up with another eyelet at the end. And that will be row 14. Oh, really? There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't say that this yarn splits a lot. I do have the occasional problem not catching all of my plies. but there are certain allowances that I can make. You know, I mean, the softness of the yarn I really, really like, and the yardage cannot be beat, and the price is right. You know, where I get it, I want to say it's maybe about between $7 and $8 per skein, and for over 1,000 yards, yep, I can dig it. I do, however, of course, wish that they had a wider variety of colors other than, you know, pastels. But I know it's a baby sport yarn, I know, but it's just me kvetching a little bit. Okay, a little bit more yarn. But I do like it, especially for projects like these. I find that a weight of 3 works out really well because a lot of the project is solid double crocheting, and that can get heavy in spite of the eyelets. So sometimes I like to do it in a weight of 3, so it makes it a little less heavy and dense. But, you know, to each their own, as always. And we are almost there to the end. Almost, almost. And yes, I am going to double count. Okay. Let's see what we got. So I've got my eyelet here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29. All right, great. So then to finish up the row, chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the top of the last stitch. And there you are. So, almost don't need a recap, but eyelet, 29, eyelet, 29, eyelet. All right, and that is the end of row 14. Okay, so row 15, it is another mirror row. So, going to be doing the exact same thing that we did in row 14. I'm just going to get you started. Chain up 3 and turn, double into that second stitch, and double all the way across until you have your eyelet, because in this row, like other mirror rows, you double in the doubles and you create eyelets where you created eyelets in the previous row. So it's going to be 29 doubles, then an eyelet, 29 doubles, and an eyelet, and so on and so forth until you reach the end of the row. And I think that doing this all over again would be a tad redundant, so I'm going to leave you to it. So just be sure that when you reach the end after doing your 29 doubles, to do a chain 1 and a double in the last stitch, just as we have been doing. All right, I have confidence in you, and I will see you for row 16. All right, row 16. If you've made it this far, congratulations, because this row that we're going to be doing right now is going to be finishing up the first section of blocks. Yes! So for row 16, start off by chaining up 3 as per usual, turn, and then create your first eyelet. So into the second stitch, double for your first eyelet, and then guess what, peoples? We're going to be doing eyelets all the way across. Yes, because it is a row of eyelets that will separate our blocks from each other to create sort of that grid work. So it's just a matter of chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next, and so on and so forth for the rest of this row. It's like a little present to you. You know, it's nice when there are easy rows, no? And then we will proceed with the second half of the pattern repeat. And it's a little bit different than the first half. It's going to look familiar, but a little bit inverted, shall we say? And yeah, I will explain. Basically, it is a matter of the number of rows when I was designing this. We started in one direction, but for the next block, it's going to be starting from the opposite direction because there's right side and wrong side to a crocheted piece. So it's like if we started on the right side, well, next series of blocks, it's going to be starting from the wrong side. So that is why it is a long repeat. It is essentially creating the same look, but starting from a different vantage point. So that is why it's a long repeat. It's no more easy or difficult than before. It's just different, that's all. Kind of like me, I'm different. Are you different? So yeah, this row is just really, really easy peasy. It's just, doing your eyelets all the way across. And since I've already gotten this far, in fact, yeah, I already surpassed one block. So you can see, it's nice and pretty and framed up with a series of eyelets. Oh, so pretty. And yeah, so I'm just going to keep going and finish up this row with you guys. Why not? And you know what? Another thing that I like about this particular filet pattern is that it really is, I would say, unisex, gender neutral, however you want to put it. Same thing with a couple of other patterns, like the square waffle fillet that I did, or the forest fillet. The hearts, absolutely love the tessellated hearts. But I don't know about you, but it's I like the pattern. It's just not me. This one though, the log cabin, it's very universal. And it is a quilting pattern that I've wanted to do myself, although I've never got around to it yet. In fact, I haven't done much sewing at all lately. I've been working on these filet patterns. It can be kind of addictive. All right, so we're almost to the end here. All right. And then to finish up this row, just add another eyelet to the very edge. And there you go. All right, so that is the end of row 16. And we are going to then commence with like I said, the second half of our pattern repeat. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, row 17. So we're going to be starting the new series of blocks. Now, to further explain what I was talking about before about right side, wrong side, when we started our blocks initially, we started in with a series of 5 doubles and then a bunch of 23 and so on and so forth. Well, we're flipping that on its head because I haven't turned my piece yet. So for row 17, going to start in as we normally do with a chaining of 3. Turn the work, and because the work is turned, if you look down here, we have a group of 23 and then a group of 5. So, yep, that's why this is a long pattern repeat. So, after chaining 3 and turning the work into that second stitch, double. There we are. And another 22 doubles for a total of 23. We'll just mosey our way along to that point. So in essence, we are doing everything that we had done previously, but in reverse. But you know me, I like to be thorough, so I'm going to walk you through it. And of course, if at any point you feel like skipping ahead, that's fine. Timestamps are in the description box. I do not judge. It's okay. So gonna do my 23. Getting there, getting there, getting there. And how many do we have? Okay, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay, all right. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Okay, yep, gonna double count. You know, that's how I roll. All right, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23. Perfect. Okay, so after doing your 23, we then need a grouping of 5. So chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the next 5. Okay, so that is the end of our first block. Then going into the second block, and if you look down, you can see that is where the block division is. So from here, after doing our 5, chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the next 23 stitches. Okay, we already have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Yep, gonna double count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23. Great. Okay. Then, to finish this up, we need to do a grouping of 5. Chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the next 5 stitches. Okay, already got 2. 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the top of the last stitch. I'll get there. There we are. And there you go. So that is the end of row 17. So, quick recap, 23 and 5. 23 and 5, separated by eyelets, of course. And there you go. Okay, row 18, it's going to be very, very simple. It is another mirror row. So, I'm going to start you off. So, chain up 3, turn, and double into that second stitch. And 4 more for a total of 5. Okay. And then, because we reached an eyelet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double into the next 23. Because, like I've been saying, the mirror rows, as I tend to call them, you're just mirroring what you did. You're repeating what you did in the previous row following suit. Double in the doubles, eyelets over the eyelets. Very, very, very simple. So, I mean, that's really all there is to it. And so keep going in this fashion. And so, we have our grouping of 5, and then we're going to have a group of 23. Then, of course, another eyelet over the eyelet. Then a grouping of 5. Then a grouping of 23. And then finish with your eyelet. I know you guys got this, so I'm going to leave you to it. So just be sure that at the end you do your chain 1 and double into the top of that second chain, and I will meet back up with you for row 19. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, row 19. All right, so row 19, as per usual, start with chaining up of 3. Turn the work, and into that next double into the stitch, and 4 more for a total of 5. Okay, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, then we need a series of eyelets. So we need 10 eyelets. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next, and so on and so forth until you have 10 eyelets. Already got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then we need a grouping of 5 doubles. We already have the 1, so add 4 more. So we've got 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's the end of the first block. So let's do the next one together. So chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double into the next 5. Okie dokie, so we got a grouping of 5. Then we need our 10 eyelets, right? Chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next, and so forth until we have our 10 eyelets. Okay, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, need 4 more. And I think 1 more should do it, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Okay, then need to finish up with a grouping of 5. We already have the 1, add 4 more. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, then finish up with an eyelet. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the top of the last stitch. And there you go. So quick recap. Grouping of 5, 10 eyelets, grouping of 5. 5, 10 eyelets, and 5. And that, my dears, is row 19. Okay, row 20. So start off by chaining up 3. You know the drill. Turn and double into that second stitch. Make an eyelet for the edge. And so we're going to start by doing a grouping of 5. So I need 4 more for the total of 5. That's 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the next 5 stitches. So it's 2 groupings of 5 that we're starting off with. Okay, that's 2, 3, 4, and there we are. Grouping of 5 there. And then chain 1, skip a stitch, and then a grouping of 11. So get the chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double into the next 11 stitches. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Double count, you know I will. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. Okay. Then we need another grouping of 5 to finish up the block. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5. There. All right, so that is one block done. Now for the next block, chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5. There we are. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 5. Almost had it. Okay. So we have our 2 groupings of 5, then we need a grouping of 11 again. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next 11. Okay, already got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, missed apply. It's okay. There. All right. And how many do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. One more. And 11. Okay. Then, last but not least, we need another grouping of 5. So do that eyelet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double into the next, and 4 more for the total of 5. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, then to finish up, chain 1, skip a stitch, and double into the last double, top of that second chain there. And there you go. Okay, so recap time. So it is a 5, 5, 11, 5. 5, 5, 11, 5. And there you go. So that is the end of row 20, and things are coming along like gravy. Alrighty, my dears, so that concludes part 2 of the Log Cabin Filet Blanket. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying it, and if you are, please give a little thumbs up button down below. You know that I appreciate your appreciation, and let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And until next time, you know what to do, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. And stay tuned for more because part 3 is coming out, and I will see you then. Bye for now. Have a good one.